How to get rich with Bitcoin even if you have no clue about technology. The surprising wealth-building secret of a globe-trotting vagabond. Dear investor, I'm writing this letter to dispel a popular myth. Many investors believe it's already too late to make a lot of money with Bitcoin. Nothing could be further from the truth. Here's why. The incredible story of how I missed the boat on Bitcoin, still got rich, and how you can do the same. The year is 2009. I am sitting in my office in Asunción, Paraguay. My office in Paraguay where I made a life-changing discovery. An intriguing document has just crossed my desk. It was talking about a new kind of digital money called Bitcoin. As I read it, I immediately realized what a potential breakthrough this new technology could be. But of course I was skeptical. Unsure if it would really work in practice. I decided to buy a few Bitcoins just in case it was for real and would go on to become successful. After all, one Bitcoin was worth just a few cents. So I went online to see where I could buy some. But there was a problem. There was no marketplace to buy or sell Bitcoin. Bitcoin was too new. Such exchanges simply didn't exist yet. I knew there was a process for mining Bitcoin. But I didn't want to spend days setting up an extra computer. And then install the software, figure out how it actually worked and keep watching over my mining computer. It was too much of a hassle just to get my hands on some Bitcoin that were worth almost nothing at the time. So I decided to keep an eye on Bitcoin and monitor its progress. Fast forward to February 2011. I had gotten busy with other projects and suddenly remembered to check on Bitcoin. I was shocked to see that the price was over $1. I had missed the boat. Bitcoin had skyrocketed up well over 1,000%. I instantly regretted that I didn't take it more seriously right away and didn't go through the effort to acquire some coins when I first heard about the technology. Then I had an epiphany. The new Bitcoin technology was keeping its promise. Unless it got hacked or someone would find a fatal vulnerability in its software code, it would probably continue to do well. So I took the plunge and bought a small amount of Bitcoin at around $2 to $3. Bitcoin kept rising higher, and by March 2013 I decided to take some first profits and sold 180 Bitcoin at $37. It seemed like a prudent move at the time. After all, the price of Bitcoin was up over 1,000% from where I bought it and had risen a crazy amount from its early days in 2009/2010. I was also still worried that the Bitcoin network might get hacked. So I pocketed a few $1,000s only to watch Bitcoin shoot up to $181. Meanwhile, the average person hearing about Bitcoin thought they had missed the boat too. They looked at Bitcoin and saw a strange new form of money that went from mere pennies to well over $100. Clearly the big money had already been made. It's too late to get in now, or so they thought. That same year Bitcoin continued its relentless rise, breaking $1,000. In those early days I always thought of $1,000 per Bitcoin as a magic round number and probably a good time to take some more profits of the table. That's why I sold another 148 Bitcoin from my stash for close to $1,000 each. And that was my first six-figure crypto payday. And once again, the average person thought they had already missed the boat because Bitcoin came from nothing and was now valued at over $1,000. This spectacular rise to over $1,000 turned out to be too much too fast. Bitcoin crashed over 80% all the way back down to $200. Proof. For the average person, Bitcoin was done. Dead. A scam. But nothing could be further from the truth. Markets move in cycles. Nothing goes up or down in a straight line. And this new asset class, cryptocurrencies, is still tiny. And its volatility is still much higher than volatility for a mature asset class like bonds, stocks, or commodities. When the pendulum reached its extreme, the Bitcoin market once again changed direction. In January 2017, Bitcoin was back at $1,000. Keep in mind that was only 4 years ago. Once again, the average person thought they had missed the boat. We all know what came next. Bitcoin shot up to $20,000. Bitcoin was all over the mainstream media, and millions of people learned about this new form of money for the very first time. And as you can probably guess, the average person who had just heard about Bitcoin thought they had already missed the boat. Do you see a pattern here? The Bitcoin story is far from over. In fact, it is only just beginning. And right now, Bitcoin is starting its next bull run. How high will we go this time? Your guess is as good as mine. But I think $200,000 to $500,000 is a reasonable target for this cycle. Especially because there are many investment funds, banks, high net worth individuals, and professional money managers with deep pockets about to get in. This all but guarantees that this bull market will be one for the record books. This is your chance. You too can make hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars with Bitcoin if you don't miss the boat. If you are new to Bitcoin, the time to get in is now. Bitcoin is a new, better form of money. Cryptocurrencies come with proven advantages. And you need to know what they are, because you could make a fortune just by discovering what other wealthy crypto investors like me figured out a few years ago. I'm going to tell you what those advantages are in just a moment. All fiat currencies worldwide are valued at around $107 trillion. This number is so big it's hard to grasp. That's $107 trillion. Compare that to Bitcoin's current value of just over $1 trillion. For Bitcoin to reach only 5% the size of outdated fiat currencies, its price has risen to $286,527. And for Bitcoin to replace a mere 10% of fiat currencies, its price has to rise to over $500,000. Of course, that doesn't happen overnight. Bitcoin's rise from a few pennies to $60,000 took over 8 years. At first, I was sure I had missed the boat with Bitcoin. I got in when I was sure it must already be too late. But I still made so much money. I was able to retire in my 30s and travel the world carefree with my wife for 5 full years. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is in the mid-5-figure range. As hard as it might be for you to believe, we are still at the very beginning. Which means you haven't missed the boat. And there's still time for you to make a fortune from Bitcoin's next big move. Not only that, but cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin will eventually replace fiat currencies. Getting started with Bitcoin today puts you among the first 1% of early adopters worldwide. You can still be a crypto millionaire. You'll be well ahead of the masses. Billions of people will come after you and will have to buy at much higher prices. The only question is, will you get started today or when Bitcoin is trading at $50,000, $100,000, or even higher? 3,929% average returns. In a Bitcoin bull market, the price often goes up 10 times or more. In July 2010, Bitcoin's price skyrocketed 900% in only 5 days. In the bull market of April 2013, Bitcoin went up from its previous low of $2 to $266. That's a rise of 13,200%. A bull run like this turns a small $5,000 investment into $660,000. Later that same year, Bitcoin went from $70 to $1,242. A rise of 1,674%. Enough to turn each $1,000 invested into $16,740. Then, in 2016, Bitcoin ran up from the previous low of $178 to $769. A return of